I have made it down here to Ilulissat Harbor, and I'm ready to board the Arctic Umiaq ferry down to Nuuk. This is a 2-night, 1-day journey, so I'll be leaving now at 5:30 p.m. and I'll arrive in Nuuk at 7 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. You can see it's a pretty substantial vessel, so I booked myself a couchette here, which is basically like a train accommodation. It's a dorm bed, for lack of a better term, in a shared cabin, so it should be okay. The cost of this, if you're wondering, was 350 Canadian dollars, or roughly, let's say about 275 or so USD. Looks like a pretty decent boat, and I'm sure the sightseeing opportunities are going to be amazing over the next, 36 hours or so that I'm going to be on this boat. 38, I suppose. But yeah, I'm looking forward to heading down to Nuuk this way rather than going on an airplane. I am here 30 minutes before departure, so I gotta go check in and get on board. So this is the boarding area. Maybe you can see the Arctic Umiaq line here in Greenland. Got a little gift shop here, I guess. Some gifts and toiletries, basically. Looks like they also offer safety deposit boxes that you can buy. We're starting in Ilulissat at 5:30, so tomorrow morning we'll get to Sisimiut at 9:30, so I'll have some time off the boat tomorrow. Otherwise, all the station stops are pretty short, as you can see. I'm only doing this section, but you can see it goes pretty much to the very end of Greenland right here. All right, so this is what the compartments are like. So it's basically this long hallway. And kind of like a train, there are couchettes on each side. And mine should be in here, actually. Yep, 380 is mine, so there it is. Bottom bunk, thank goodness. I really was hoping to not have a top bunk, so this works out really well. And it's right next to the heater. So they don't include bedding whatsoever here, so they do have like a pillow, basically, and they have some like linens that you cover up the mattress with, but blankets they don't provide. You can buy them on board for about 25 Canadian dollars. I ended up going to the local thrift store where I live in Calgary and getting one for $4 that I can just dispose of as soon as I get off the boat. So I've been carrying that with me, kind of nice compact polar fleece blanket, so it should be good enough. All right, I got my bed all made up here. So you can see they don't give any blankets or anything like that. You have to bring one on your own. They did provide this, almost like a doctor's office, sanitary paper for the mattress, a mattress protector. I don't know how protective it is. And a pillow protector that I put the pillow into. And I got my blanket that I brought from Canada to save some cash here. So I'm all set. That should keep me warm enough. I'm also next to a pretty hot furnace, so not bad accommodations though. They're actually quite spacious though. You can see this hallway is pretty wide. And the beds are larger than I thought they'd be. I actually think they might be 6 feet long, and I might be able to actually stretch out and not be in the fetal position all night. They do have privacy curtains as well. All right, so luggage storage right over here. Common luggage storage. A shower stall if you want to take a shower. Toilet. So it's pretty well equipped. Dyson even. And I just so happened to stumble upon this open window, and this is one of the cabins actually. So you can see they have seating areas and table, 2 pull-down bunks, and shower and bathroom there in the corner, along with the television and kettle facilities and everything else. So these are much more comfortable, but they're also much more expensive. One of these cabins will run you roughly 800 Canadian dollars, or I guess roughly 600 US for the 2-day trip. I guess it's up to you to decide if it's worth it, but you definitely have a lot more privacy. All right, so they have a restaurant on board, which is nice, the Cafe Sarfaq. And this is what it's like inside. It's a decent space here, and I guess they have a pretty substantial menu actually. You'd be surprised. Got some smørrebrød. All right, we are about to leave Ilulissat. They're just getting ready to pull out of port. I can hear the bells whistling. This boat is of extreme importance to the people of Greenland. So it acts as their mail ship, which takes mail basically from one community to the other. but it also connects people and communities. Loved ones are able to travel between communities and see each other without experiencing the high cost of a plane ticket. So pretty important connection within the country here. And we are pulling away from port. There he goes. Goodbye, Ilulissat. You can see this massive fuel tank farm here that provides fuel to the community of Ilulissat. Very important. Fuel farms are extremely important here in the Arctic. Polar oil. And the beautiful, beautiful town of Ilulissat. If you ever have a chance to go, definitely check out one of Greenland's most beautiful cities. So what an incredible start to this trip. You can see that massive mountain of ice right there. I recognize that from yesterday's tour. Huge mountain of ice coming off of the Ilulissat ice fjord, which we're going to be passing any minute. Things are going to get a lot less icy as we move further south, about 650 or 700 kilometers all the way to Nuuk. It's starting to get hard to see, but very beautiful. It is a gorgeous Sunday evening, and I'm so glad that there is still some daylight left to enjoy this. So many icebergs. Actually getting a little bit of wave action. I'm starting to feel the boat sway. So we must be heading into open water. And it is pretty much the Atlantic Ocean. It's somewhat sheltered because Canada is in the way, but in any case, this boat's a rockin'. I'm gonna head on back into the boat now. I think I have exhausted my daylight, so thankful to have experienced what I did just then. Beautiful icebergs. And I hope I see more tomorrow, though I don't think I will. Anyway, heading back inside, I'm cold. All right, I've settled in for dinner here at the Cafe Sarfaq, and I've ordered myself a smoked halibut schmorrebrød. This would cost, at least $15 in Copenhagen. So it's actually pretty inexpensive. This was only 45 kroner, which is only about $9 Canadian. So not too bad. It's pretty high quality too. You got the smoked halibut, some citrus, caviar, prawn, and maybe, not sure what that is, maybe egg. Anyway, bon appetit. All right, this is our first stop of the voyage. 4.5 hours later, we've arrived in Aasiat, south of Ilulissat. Smaller community, as you can see. There's not a ton of people going to or from. Lots of sea cans though. Anyway, not much else going on here, but yeah, Aasiat, Greenland right here. All right, good morning everybody. This is Sisimiut. Sisimiut is the second largest town in Greenland. Very foggy morning today though. Wow, the weather was better, 300 kilometers further north where I just was, so ironic. It is just about 9 o'clock in the morning here, and I'll have about 90 minutes to sightsee here. I feel like this is like a port of call on a cruise, so I get to experience another place and at least poke around. It's not going to be a very long stay or anything, but at least I get to see another community here in Greenland, relatively free of charge, and boy, I'm falling around here. Can't keep my balance with a ship swaying like this. I'm gonna go see if I can get some views of the community here as we approach. I can see the lights there in the distance. Looks like they have some mountain peaks there, but they're hiding behind the fog. The boat is just pulling into port now. Kind of early to look around, but I'll make the best of it. All right, I just got off the boat here, and he says we'll have an hour and a half. So 11 o'clock a.m. it'll depart once again. So I'm gonna go poke around a little bit and then come back here early so I don't miss this thing. You can see really colorful buildings perched right above the waterfront here. Lots of bustling activity. This is one of the major ports here in Greenland, so there's a lot of sea cans, as you can see, getting unloaded, loaded, and probably getting taken to all the various communities around here that aren't on the main line. Beautiful marina, and I'm heading up there towards the beautiful church on the hilltop there. So you can see some very cool canoes on display. It's actually not too far of a walking distance from the ferry port, probably 10 minutes to get over here. So that was efficient at least. These are some of the oldest buildings here in Sisimiut. Very cool. I think the rest of the town though is on top of that hill, and that might be out of reach to me, but if this is all I get to see, it'll be enough. Beautiful. This is a old blue church you can see on the left. And those huge bowhead whale bones marking the entrance to the museum, which is right here. Very cool. It is a bit slick though. Cute little museum. I don't have time to go in though, unfortunately, with this boat leaving in a half an hour, but pretty cool. And great sights over the harbor below. You can see this one, and it's kind of a weathered yellow. It's definitely a colorful community like most in Greenland. There's the museum. And then up here is that beautiful red church on the hillside above. And a pretty impressive sod house right here. There's a lot of history here in Greenland. All right, I am back at the boat, ready to board for Nuuk. That was a good little layover. It was nice to stretch my legs as well. Got back on board with no problem. And I'm here in the aft lounge, which is pretty empty right now, so I was able to get a pretty good seat. Sisimiut was the only place that I'll be able to get off and sightsee because all the other stops are like 15 minutes long. But I'm glad I had the hour and a half there to poke into town and so forth. But today it's just going to be mostly taking a look at some of the beautiful views of Greenland, the west coast. All right, we just passed 66.5 degrees north. That means we just crossed the Arctic Circle, so we're no longer in the Arctic at this point. Now we are in the sub-Arctic. All right, the scenery has been pretty uneventful so far, but massive mountain peak. Looks almost like a pingo. Huge mountain peak right there on the shoreline. Well, the water is definitely getting a little bit rougher now. My camera just fell off the table, so that's a first. It is a good thing that I don't suffer from any seasickness. And we are getting really close to the opening of Ilulissat, the long fjord that goes from Ilulissat, the town, all the way to the coast. So it's probably why it's getting so bumpy now. So it's just about 4 o'clock p.m. at this point, and there's not much daylight left at this point in the day. All right, we are arriving in Kangaamiut. It's a pretty narrow passageway here, but all those peaks, they look so much like the pitons of St. Lucia. So cool. So as of right now, it's been about 24 hours since we left Ilulissat, and just stunning views here in the central part of Western Greenland, I suppose. A little bit more than halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way at this point from Ilulissat to Nuuk. And the anticipation is building as we approach the community perched up on the top of the hillside there, colorful as ever. So the harbor is a little bit too shallow to accept the boat, so this is a tender port, so you can see everybody loading onto the small little boat that's going to take them over to Kangaamiut. All right, here they come back with new passengers. right, I am saying goodbye to the Sarfaq Ittuk, having arrived here in Nuuk. It's pretty dreary out and there's a lot of ice on the ground, so looks like they got a little cruise terminal there. Yeah, it's definitely sleety today, so I gotta watch my step. So one thing to note if you're making this journey is that these port facilities don't really have any facilities, so there's not really like a waiting room or, you know, a place that'll call you a cab or anything like that. You're literally dropped off in the middle of the busy port, and you kind of have to go your own way and walk as far as you can until you find what you need, I suppose. This is a pretty large city. It's probably 3 or 4 kilometers across. I guess I can't wait to check out this more cosmopolitan side of Greenland and see what one of the world's most bustling cities looks like. One of the fastest growing cities in the world, so very cool. 16,000 people. I try to get to my Airbnb, drop the baggage off, and then start my day of sightseeing as soon as the sun comes out in about an hour.